Buongiorno a tutti, welcome to the sunny Venice. As you can see, we got an incredible day. Ciao Svalbard, Manga, ciao Nina, ciao a tutti. Yeah, the view is just amazing. It's super hot. It's t-shirt weather actually. That's exactly what we're having today. Ciao Elizabeth. We got an amazing weather. 25 degrees, so 65 more or less. It's a bit windy as long that you are by the coastline. Once that you are in the inner alleys, it's not a problem. But as you can see, we got an amazing view today. Ciao Judith. Ciao a tutti, buongiorno. Buongiorno, welcome to all of you. As you can see, I got a kind of a gondolier stripe sweatshirt. Ciao, welcome. I will be super happy. Actually, sorry, that is always funny and super bright. Buongiorno to all of you and welcome to I Love You Venice channel. My name is Igor and today I will be taking you around. It's definitely 25 Celsius. See, and so is anything. We got a bunch of happy dogs that are saying hello to everybody. Yeah, we got around 25 Celsius, and so it's definitely really hot. Ciao, buongiorno. So the entire idea is that spring is arriving. Spring is already. It's around 0 around here. Nice and crispy. Now here, as you can see, definitely short sleeves is ideal at the moment. We're going to have cold weather next weekend. Yesterday I was up in the Prosecco Hills, but there was no wind actually, and it was super nice and super hot, and so we cannot complain at all actually. So I believe that really my dog just looked up to see who was barking, but he was barking in Italian. We might have some problems actually of comprehension. You can never tell. So things will be set up for Easter. I definitely say so actually. It will be a really nice Easter. Ciao Julie, ciao Anna, ciao to all of you. See, for Easter actually we're expecting a really nice weather. I believe that quite a lot of people, they're going to end up into to the beach, to the Lido Island, to Jesolo, to have a lovely beach, let's say a lovely Easter beach actually. The entire situation is that May and June Venice is going to be crazy busy. Lovely to see. It's already hot in Venice. See, it's probably a couple of days that is hot. Before actually it was a kind of chilly. Now the situation is way much different. It's different. The entire idea is, where are we? At this real moment we are in the district of Castello, of course. We are situated right in the gardens of St. Helen. The island that you see on the distance exactly right over there is definitely the island of the Lido, the first Lido named like that, and all the other Lidos that has been named after this one. And we got the big ferry that is on our right hand side. This one is the most important ferry that is taking the trucks and the cars in and out of the island of the Lido. And then let me see if I can zoom a bit. We got this kind of onion. Give me a second, try to stand still. We got that kind of onion rooftop bell tower. That one is San Lazzaro degli Armeni, San Lazarus of the Armenians actually. And they got an amazing collection of books dating back to the medieval times. I watched the Venezia football team near there in 2021. See, you're right that the Venezia soccer stadium is somewhere on the left hand side. Unzipping my Piumino, I definitely say so. I would say that you will be taking the Piumino off. The Piumino is the feather sweatshirt, the feather jacket actually that here everybody loves it. And not only here of course, but the other idea is the other big island that is coming up in front of us right now. This one is San Servolo, that it was pretty much the hospital for mental diseases. Nowadays is part of the university. They do quite a lot of important events. Sometimes we got even part of the short videos dedicated to the mountains that they are normally taking place there when we go to the movie festival. And sorry, I got a little bit back. Sì, San Servolo, grazie mille that you wrote it, that so everybody can read it. And the line right over there is still part of the Lido, and the little tiny island right over there, the big bell tower that is standing right in front of us, is the most haunted island that we got in the Venetian lagoon. Actually, the American ghost hunters, that they done even episode that dedicated to the ghost. And it seems that there was like a hospital that they were torturing everything, but that is the made up story actually. And this one nowadays is totally inhabited, and is the island of Poveglia. And then somewhere here we got a few more islands. That one in front, Poveglia is abandoned and is not in a great shape. The island that is arriving right in front of us, that one is San Clemente, that it was still a hospital, let's say, and nowadays is the Kempinski Hotel. The island with the water tower that you see on the distance right now, that one is the island where the JW Marriott is, just to give you an idea, that so you can get all the distances. Another abandoned area, island. And then, sorry, here we go, we got the island of San Giorgio that is coming up in front of us right now. And then the big domes that are on the distance, that one is the Church of the Salute, St. Mary of the Health, situated right in front of right at the beginning of the Canal Grande, the Grand Canal. And then of course we got the crane of the Bauer Hotel, and is going to be converted in a kind of a boutique hotel that they're going to put it down retail shops or anything similar. It seems that they're going to give importance to all the Venetian artisans. Let's see in 2, 3, 4, 5 Italian years when they're going to open up. And then of course right here we got the owner of Venice, the bell tower of Piazza San Marco, together with the Doge's Palace, the 5 domes of the St. Mark Basilica. And then on the distance right there we got the Church of the Pietà of the Mercy, where Vivaldi composed the 4th season. And the bell tower that is on the way right now, this one is the leaning tower of the Church of the Greeks. And then of course we got the entire embankment that is going to lead us you are our Dario Argento. Yeah, Dario is getting retired. And so we need a replacement. For sure I'm not gonna be as good as him. And then here we go. Yeah, just to give you an idea who is Dario Argento. Dario Argento is a movie maker, a movie producer, actually Italian, that is the one about horror movies. And Asia Argento, which is the daughter of Dario Argento, she was the fiancée of Anthony Bourdain before that he died. Actually, the tower leans not as much as Pisa. Fred, a little bit. I mean, from here you cannot see it, but it's leaning not as badly as Pisa. But we got the church of the bell tower of the Church of Sant'Angelo. That one is leaning worse than the Pisa tower, actually. Yeah, we are facing right in front of us the most important dates of this season, and you can clearly see, here we go. So we got La Biennale di Venezia, the Venetian Biennale, the biannual. So of course we got the Carnevale that I already being on the 20th of May. We're going to have the architecture, and so all over the pavilions of the Biennale we're going to have the most important architects that are going to display their own masterpieces of art. That it will be from the 20th of May until the 26th of November. The Teatro, Theater, 15th of June until the 1st of July. Dance, 13th until the 29th of July. Cinema, so 30th of August until 9th of September. And then music from the 16th until the 29th of October. At this real moment, everybody is getting pretty excited. And I was watching a few minutes ago, actually, that I was in the shade because the sun is still kind of too strong for me and not used yet. And this is definitely the main entrance of the Biennale when they're going to open up, and that is the main pavilion that is standing in front of us. But in May, all these pavilions Menga, everything turned into pretty much green. Let's say that these are eternal leaves, and so they're always here. The sycamore that they are on our left hand side, they are slowly starting to have a bunch of little tiny leaves, but not much. But let me tell you, I got tulips everywhere in my garden, so we got definitely all the spring flowers actually that they are everywhere. And so here we go, we're right at the beginning of the Biennale. As you can see on the distance, there's somebody that is working, that they're using the chariot, and they are preparing some of the venues, and this is definitely the main entrance for the it's going to take a while, of course, before that they fix everything up, but we got what, March, April and May, 2 months and a half, two months, let's say, which is not enough for Italy. We're always behind schedule, we're always late. But as you can see, this area is phenomenal. Not see many tulips here in Texas. See, you're right. Blue notes, let me see if I saw some. We got some daisies. Wait a second. I'll just show them. Here we go. Give me a second. These are the kind of the flowers that we're having right now. We got the daisies that they're right there. I take you later on in the flower shop, that so we can probably see some of the blue notes, some of the tulips, and some of these flowers actually. Yeah, you can see that this section we are still having the branches that are still pretty clean at the moment, but it's already green. Let's say yesterday that I was up in the Prosecco Hills, they are probably 2 weeks behind Venice at the moment. Of course, they're a little bit higher, and so at that point they're going to have all the flowers a bit later. Sorry, give me a second. And this real moment that we were saying, we got Piazza San Marco that is straight in front of us. We got something like 6 or 7 bridges ahead of us. This is pretty much the section of the garden that has been created by Napoleon some 200 years ago, to give the chance to the Venetians to have a lovely promenade. Ciao, Jill, welcome, Julia. And then everything turning green here. I have to mow the grass. Gee, don't tell me. The grass is pretty high. I got a problem with the machine actually that is not working properly. And so let's see. But I will be mowing the grass pretty soon. It's getting too high. I'm having problems to see the dog sometimes at the moment, and the dog is big, so it means that I got definitely problems. And yeah, you can clearly see that the situation is changing. Let's say at the moment it's a kind of quiet, but once that you get into Piazza San Marco, Rialto Bridge is busy, not crazy busy, but a bit busy. So at the moment we are right in Rio Terra una passeggiata con un bicchiere o due. Sì. I need water actually. That I'm starting to have hay fever, and the situation. That's why that it's a couple of days actually that I'm having a nice headache. And many tourists around this area, of course not, but we do have quite a lot of tourists. And one thing, if this year you're planning to come to Venice, make sure that you book everything well in advance, not at the last second, because there's no chance to get any kind of accommodation. I'm at the moment I'm answering emails to a bunch of guests that they will be arriving in June. They are going to sleep after Mestre, and that it will be pretty complicated actually. May and June it seems that Venice is totally sold out. Giulia, una bottiglia di rosso, sì, sicuramente. If I start to drink, I won't be an entire bottle. I don't think that I'm gonna make it all the way home. No, the thing is, yesterday we were exploring a new winery because we need to bring some guests in the Prosecco Hills in October actually, that we're going to do a glass blowing demonstration inside of a winery, and that is going to be a pretty cool project. At this real moment we are right by the Church of San Giorgio. Canunau wine. Yeah. Canunau wine is probably a bit too strong. That after 2 glasses actually you don't feel the legs from half of your body down. No, maybe not. Another thing, let me make sure one thing that is clear to everybody, that a lot of people, they were writing to me that is like, hey guys, how is working in Venice? Do you have still water? Can you still swim? Is it okay, the situation? Ciao, 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 Cenotus Blue. Ciao, ciao. Yeah, the entire idea is we do have water. It's definitely down, see? We got a little bit of low tide, but it's not as low as it used to be 2 weeks ago. The water normally is between this and that step. Let me give you this angle so you can get the full idea. So we got something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 steps down, and it's not too bad actually. But of course we got the tides that is coming and going 4 times a day. At this real moment is the lowest point, and everything is going to change again in the next 6 hours. But definitely we do have water. We are not dry or crazy dry. Yeah, those of you that were saying, yes, there were rumors that the water had completely disappeared. Everyone was worried about. See, Julie, everybody was. We were playing Jesus in those days. Actually, that everybody thought that we were giving miracles to everybody. L'idea tutti giù per terra. Sì, direi di sì. Igor, is the smell from the canals is really disturbing during the hottest time of the year? Thank you for asking. Even now, look, we got. Give me a second, that's so you can understand. Water level is normally there. Now that we got these seaweeds that are out, there's no smell. It smells ocean at the moment. It smells salted water as it can be in South Beach, Miami, rather than San Francisco, beside of this bad smell of the sea lions. But that's a different story. At least we don't have sea lions here. But the entire idea is back to the problems of the mud in the canals. It's a mix, and back to the question that Nina was asking. During the summer, when we got 100, 101, 102 degrees, the smell can be bad only for a reason, because on the last few years we're having the red seaweeds, they are overgrowing, and when the sun is burning the seaweeds, the smell is going to be pretty bad. But other than that, actually the situation is not bad at all. The smell, they are not bad. We are having some problems with a little bit of mud here and there actually, but on the last few years they are starting to reclean, refix, so it's not too bad the situation actually. Other than that, we cannot complain, but there's no bad smell around at the moment. And that washing looks a bit precarious hanging up, so no. Look at there. Yeah, the situation is definitely precarious, and as I normally say, the national sport here is socks fishing, because normally they're all ending up into the canals when it's really windy. How do they retrieve the clothes? It's oh, I cannot remember how it's called. It's gone. It's a pulley, and so let me see if I can show you. Wait a second. You got the pulley that is right over there, and so they can easily pull the clothes from side to side. That's how it's working actually. In this case is a one way, but quite often actually you got one line rolls, absolutely. The pulls, the line, it's a circular line. See, that's totally right. David, finger crossed. I hope so. Ciao, David. Ciao, Hazel. I hope that you can make it without smell and without big crowds. No, the thing is, hanging the clothes out is not a big problem, and the smells on the last few years, as I told you, is a kind of bad. During summertime, cause to Red Sea weed that are going to be burned by the sun, but other than that, it's not a big problems. Some pantaloons, yeah, the pantaloni of somebody, but well, beside of the pantaloni, we got even socks, underwear, and all these things. Yeah, we already mentioned a bunch of times you cannot go too sexy while that you are in Venice, because everybody knows which kind of lingerie you will be wearing. And let me give you this view. Cloth sharing, now that everybody is in the sharing economy. That is a great idea, the butandine, esatto, bravo. Here we go. Here we go, the sharing economy. Yeah, they just done the washing of the black. Sì, tanga. No, niente tanga, abbiamo I calzini. No, we got a bra over there. Hold on, but that is pretty regular. We got a bunch of socks up there. These naughty Italians that they are checking. Now, let's say that if you're coming to that, this is the beauty of Castello. Because it's a really authentic area. It's really laid back, it's quiet, lovely, relaxing, and here we go, I told you. Ta-da! Yeah, imagine 5,000 people watching your clothes. See, Elizabeth is how do you call it? Street fashion? I would call it street fashion. It cannot be more street than this, actually. Here we go. We got some different point of view. We've done some washing of the blankets. Sì, solo I colori dell'essere italiano. Or otherwise, check it out here, that the view is always amazing, because the majority of these streets, there used to be canals that has been converted into walkways, into pedestrian areas, and that this area is phenomenal because you got a bunch of amazing restaurants that you are going to be totally off the beaten path, and they are really nice actually. But the most important thing is to be quiet and relaxed. I mean, once that you're starting to get bored of having millions and millions of people in Piazza San Marco, even during summertime, this is the kind of crowds that you will be getting in Castello. Yeah, and yeah, it's not rush hours yet. Rush hours, it will be more in half an hour, 45 minutes, but it will be still the same actually. Let me see, how do you remove mud, sand from the canals, and how can you remove it given that all these buildings are resting on wood and water? Great question. Let me see. Uh, you have to know that especially during the 60s, there was an architect that invented, a really interesting way of cleaning the canals. Next time that you are coming into Venice, you will see that along the canals there are some pieces of cement with slots, and in the past they were able to plug in a barrier that so they were able to block it off a specific part of the canal. They were able to pump the water out, and they were able to dredge, to dig the canal and reclean everything. Nowadays the situation is completely different because draining the canals, taking all the water out of the canals, it's a non-natural situation. What I'm trying to say is that we got water 24/7, 365 days a year, and the entire situation is that having water all the time in the foundations, the wood is good. And the entire idea is that as long that you take the water out, the wood is getting too dry, and at that point you are starting to have things that they might collapse. And that is definitely the major problem. So right now we're dredging, reclaim the canals in wet. So we got a special boat that does have a kind of a special excavator. At that point, actually, they dredge the canal and they clean everything up. The mud is going to get into a specific boat, and then the boat is going to go into the mainland. It's going to be totally recleaned, redone, refixed, or they use it even for fertilizer, actually, sometimes. The other idea is how the wood is not getting deteriorated and all these things. You have to know that underneath, underneath this area we got wooden pilings that has been drilled into clay, no air into the wood, and the wood became petrified. And so that's exactly how everything worked out here. And so nowadays all the wood that has been drilled in the foundations of Venice is definitely petrified. It's like having real stones that they are still there actually, and so they're not moving much. As we mentioned in many of our tours, actually, underneath the bell tower in Piazza San Marco, we got 10,000 wooden pilings. Underneath Rialto Bridge, for each embankment, we got 6,000 and 6,000 wooden pilings. Here we got the cats condominium. We got a bunch of cats that live right here, and this one is phenomenal because the winter garden, the winter pavilion right here that has been built up for the Biennale to put on the plants that were arriving from the hot areas of the world, like palms and other flowers. Actually, it has been developed almost 100 years ago, exactly right in this area. Right now, on the right hand side, you got this beautiful bar and cafeteria. On the left hand side, you do have the flower shop. And let me see if we can sneak in a second, so I'll give you a better view. The entire idea of this area is the cafeteria that is always phenomenal, and you got a lot of interesting flowers that are literally everywhere. So the Venetians, they're normally coming this way to buy their own plants and flowers, and so we got lemons that they are exactly right here, that they're always nice. And the original creators that were pretty much refugees, I believe that they're going to be totally shocked if they will be able to come here. Had to look for 30 p.m. Their sun should be going down. Oh, not really actually. At this real moment, sun is going down around 6:15, and so we're still having 2 hours of daylight. And really soon they're going to change all the time next week, if not next weekend. Here we go. Somebody was asking about flowers, and so Um, you can easily come here, you just buy whatever you like actually, and so you got a lot of options, and almost all the time or you plant it directly into the garden, or you put it just in your balcony, so it's gonna be full of flowers. So we're really lucky. See, they're all for sale, and so this one is €8 a piece, €8 a pot. See the spring bulbs, they are fantastic actually, and oh, look at here, ta-da. And now we're really lucky. From this point on, everybody's going to put they are pretty cheap, but they are, let's say, probably a couple of euros extra than the mainland, but they are I don't know, compared to other areas, if they are cheaper or whatever. But let's say I buy them for pretty much the same price in the mainland, a couple of extra euros, but it's not a big difference. Yeah, those are pretty. Normally I got them just outside, no, not cheap, for Jacintus. Give me a second, wait a second. They are free bulbs, 1, 2, 3, and I bought a packet of Jacintus for €2. With the pot, it was something like €5 already planted. Of course, it depends on the area. But let's say if you buy just the Jacintus together in the bag, actually, as I told you, there are a couple of euros, and then you plant them on. Does Le Beccherie serve the best tiramisu? What do you think? Nina, Le Beccherie in Treviso at the moment, actually everything is changing dramatically. I don't think anymore actually, and I'm having a tough time with Treviso people, that they are not ready to tourist yet, and it's gonna take a long time before that they are going to be ready to tourism actually. We're having a lot of tourists, but we should have the hospitality of the people from Sicily, or otherwise from Sorrento or those areas actually. Is something that we don't have it in Treviso. It's gonna take a long time before that we're going to learn it. I wish that as I told you, the hospitality of Sicily, or anything from Rome south would have been in Treviso, and that would have been phenomenal actually. Unfortunately, we are not like that. And so look at here. And so we got a lot of beautiful flower pots, and they are fantastic. Oh, look at these roses. Just to give you an idea, they are something like €3 for the roses. That's so you can get a full idea. Got a bunch of lovely daisies here. The campanulas, they are really nice. We got another kind of daisies that they are yellow, and they are something like €6 a pot. They are down there. They are miniature roses. See, they are really popular here actually. The mini roses, the miniature roses. We plant them in our gardens, and they are lovely actually. In my garden, I got miniature pomegranate. They are not bonsai, but they are small pomegranate. So it's more like a little bush, if you want. And those are pretty actually. That if you pick them up, you put them into a pot, and you use it as a flower decoration into your house. Those are nice actually. We cannot complain. Yeah, before you are planting full-size roses. Yeah, here we go. He's going hunting. It's not gonna win against the seagulls. The seagulls are gonna eat him. Now the entire idea is, yeah, this side we don't have much green yet. You can make a miniature bottle of Granadina. See, see, you're right. I prefer a regular size rather than the miniature one. Give me a second, let me turn around. But if you're coming during summertime down in this area, this spot it will be really nice and pretty. So at least you can chill out and just relax. We are going to see the terrapins. I don't know. Later we see. Hey, have us seen Steve Seagull. And let's have a look. We're going to pass right in front of one of our cameras in a little bit. Though the Venice lamps, they are really pretty, and it was these early hours actually that in Piazzale Roma they were cleaning the lamps. They are dating back of the late 1800s, and they are really nice actually. I give you another idea. Turtles, tortoise, call it whatever, they woke up and are already swimming around. Even the carp, the koi carp, is fully awake. Here we go, they are right there, enjoying themselves with a little bit of sun. They're all piled up, as you can see, cheek to cheek. There's one that is pretty much doing free climbing. Wait. Oh, look at him. He's suspended. Oh, here we go. We got the koi carp that is arriving. Wait, sorry, that is. Ta-da! You can easily see it. Frogs? I don't think so. Sorry, Renato. Now those are lovely. Actually, we got a bunch. There's another one. Wait a second. Let I zoom back. Here we go. That's the second one. That is more reddish. And then you got the yellowish one. That is tartaruga. Bravo, Fred. Esatto. We got some more that are on this side, so you can see them. It's a super busy little pond. It's always been like this. We got a bunch that are swimming around. One is still a bit dirty after that they slept the entire winter. You didn't know that we had tortoise in Venice. It's the only spot that we got tortoise. And we do have some careta that are the sea turtles actually. And there's another one that is eating down there. See, the fish are too big for the things to eat. And right here we got Mr. Garibaldi that is giving the name actually to the street that is behind us. And this one is definitely the guy that unified Italy some 150 years ago, that he started in Genoa. He went all the way down to Sicily and then he made his own way up to the northern part of Italy. Yeah, you can, in a second you're going to see the kids. They just finished the school, the kindergarten. Everybody is screaming and shouting and having a lot of fun, as you will see in a couple of minutes actually. And this spot is one of the most active one for the kids, especially because you got the kindergarten that is in front of us. You got the kiosk right here that is always selling different kind of little games and the stickers for the albums and all these things. So it makes sense. And as you can see, we are in via Garibaldi. Sì, tu speri di trovare la nocchietta, vero? Gli piacerebbe a Renato invece. No, as you can see, we are right in via Garibaldi, and this one almost a bit less than 200 years ago, when the Austrians they were here, they filled up the entire canal that it was here, that it was going from side to side. So in this way, the people they were able to walk around easily actually. And so we got a lot of Rio Terra that has been put on into the area of Venice, and every time that you find the Rio Terra, Rio river, Terra land, and so think about that during the Austro-Hungarian Empire we went from approximately 45 kilometers of canals down to 37, so the Austrians filled in a lot of the canals. So the walls that you're starting to see at this real end, those are the walls of the Arsenal, the Arsenale, and Bird Alley, yeah, because we got the supermarket, and quite often they put the leftover light breadcrumbs in this area. But definitely, the walls that are right here are part of the walls of the Arsenale, and so every time the Venetians they were building up the galleys, the boats, they would have been inside of this area. So 800 years ago, we would have had approximately, yeah, you can see the tower right there. Dam Soccer Club is everywhere. Yeah, the entire idea is that exactly in this area we would have had 20 up to 30,000 workers that they were working inside of the Arsenale of the Venetian shipyard, and we would have had anything between 20 up to 30,000 workers that they were working here, as I was saying before, and they would have been able to build up a galley boat in approximately 24 hours. Yeah, as you can see again, rush hours, super crazy busy. Yeah, they got to build those boats, and that's the reason why that this area is called Castello, Castle, mainly because we got the walls that, as you can see, it looked like a castle itself, and they needed to protect the shipyards because if the enemies they were coming over in this way, they would have kept outside and they would have not destroyed the shipyard and they would have not killed the workers actually. And then of course building up boats and ships, it was extremely important because without ships, vessels, we would have not done anything for the Venetian Republic. Look, here we got they are collecting the solid plastic actually, because in this way in Italy normally we are able to do what we're able to give subsidizations to hospitals to buy wheelchairs and all these things. So this plastic is way much harder and the quality is way much better. And so in this way they can help out the hospitals with these kind of things. And look, this door is quite funny that you got the two salmon that they used to be the tray to display the food. And here we go, you got the oarlock, but he has been totally decorated with Mickey Mouse. This case is Donald Duck. Plastic bottles, cups, that's exactly the same thing. I believe that especially in Europe, I don't know in the States or in other countries, but definitely in Europe we do it a lot. Yeah, you're right, Nina. And here we go, salmon, and they just disappear, you don't notice them. And this door is always nice actually, that they always adding up extra decorations. Sì, simpatica. See, Elizabeth, there's another thing that here, we got a leg. We got a leg up there. Elizabeth, there's, if you check it out, there's an association that is called cracking art. So normally they collect the cups of the top part of the bottles, the cups, and then they fuse everything, and then they do gigantic snails or they do gigantic frogs just to keep Renato happy. or otherwise they do gigantic bears or gorillas or anything like that. They sell the masterpieces of art, and so at home we got one frog and one swallow, and with the money that they collect, everything is going to go into the hospital for helping the kids, like Patch Adams or anything similar actually. Yeah, this street, this alley is normally one of the nicest one. And then, yeah, the craziest thing is always this spot that you're like having Jesus next door to the communist. This is the new version of Jesus that now it look like more hipster. The previous one, it was more interesting. Here is like associations that they always do music, they play cards. Here we go. Some live music. More washing. See, better Renato that is going to buy all the frogs actually. See, absolutely background music. So we got some soul, jazz, and rock music that is always coming out from these associations actually. That yesterday night we went to see what a really interesting concert that is the Queen Extravaganza, that all the elements of the rock band that has been chosen by Brian May and and Mr. Roger, the drummer, and they were amazing actually. They're doing a European tours, and the voice of one of the singer was exactly like Freddie Mercury, and that was phenomenal actually. See, Fred is like New Orleans, exactly the same thing. Castello means castle in Italian. See, absolutely right. They are going to have to pull that laundry in soon before it gets dark. Manga, we're still having 4:45, 5:45. We got still 1 hour and a half actually before that is turning into dark. So we're still lucky. Here now is 4:45, 4:45. 6:30 is a kind of pitch black. So they done the laundry for the dog too. It's getting hot. They don't need the sweat anymore. Dog's laundry. They go 1, 2, and 3. Wait. The zoom today is a kind of funny. So let's go back to the main street that we are back in Via Garibaldi, and really soon, if you're going to watch one of our cameras in the I Love You Venice, we will be right at the end of Via Garibaldi, so you're gonna see me through the camera. So we're going to do a crossfight. No, the dogs are a big thing here. Let's say the situation is still quiet, but later on during the season you will see that here it will be totally crazy busy. We're going to have people literally everywhere, that everybody's going to have spritz, and they're going to have a lot of fun. In the last few years they opened up a lot of beautiful bars right in this area, and every time that you're going to see LSV, Locale Storico Veneto, as a bunch of those we just passed, that means that Locale is place, Storico, historical, Veneto is the region, and so it's one of the historical bars and restaurants that we got in town actually, and those are really nice and pretty. I did the same to my dog's clothes, but should have dried outdoors to make peasants happy. Have a try, Nise. I don't do it. I got the dog is shy. He doesn't want to show off what he's wearing and when he's doing the washing. So the situation is It's different. Are the good restaurants nearby? Which do you recommend in this district? You do have Algaranghello. You do have I Compari around this area. They're all good. And Al Giorgione, that is good. So you do have a bunch around this area. Well, let's say once that you are entering into this area, doesn't matter which one that you are getting, that they're all equally good actually. I imagine laundry hanging out on the Palazzo Ducale. No, maybe not, because Doge needs the dress fresh. See. Oh, let's have a look. In a second, we should be having the Ca' Formenta, that is exactly here on our right hand side with a pinkish building, and where in a second, if you're going to get connected in Ca' Formenta, or if you're going to go into YouTube, into our channel of I Love You Venice, you should be able to see me. I got a striped t-shirt like a gondolier. The camera is somewhere over there, and you should be able to see me right now. Let me see. Check it out if you can see the striped t-shirt that I look like a bee. But if you're going to check it out right now, you should be able to see it. So I Love You Venice channel into YouTube, and then if you're going to check it out, Ca' Formenta, that's exactly where we are. Here we go. I'm waving right now. Do they still sing Barcaro? See, then so one of the last one on the right hand side, you got the restaurant that they are still singing, and so that one is really nice, and it's just before the garden, and so you got Mr. Bisutto that is normally singing there. And so ciao to all of you from the side camera. And so let me go this way, we cross, we're back, we started somewhere over there. So we went all the way down on our left hand side, and right now we're having the lovely shape of the Caboto Palace standing right in front of us. And this one is really interesting because, as you can see, it really looked like the front part of okay, so you in the rolling camera feed, okay, got it. And you got the Caboto family that they were living here, that they were sailing literally all over the world, that they hit Canada, and they wanted to have the house exactly like a sailing boat. I meant your gondolier friends. No, yes. Said actually is not really singing much at the moment. He became father a few months ago, so he's not sleeping much at the moment. See, in a little second we should be able to have a kind of a really lovely sun view. It's not sun setting, as we said, we still need 1 hour. Let me see. Let me go down this way so you can get the full idea. But the view, as usual, is really nice and spectacular. So you can clearly see the bell tower in front of us on the right hand side, and then that's Piazza San Marco. And if you come this way, as I told you, you cross 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the bridge number 7, and you will be exactly in Via Garibaldi. So it's always easy and pretty to get exactly right in this area. Wait a second. Let's stop here a second, that I can give you a full view. Ciao Nicole, welcome, welcome. Buongiorno, buongiorno. Yeah, thank you Anne for helping us out for the payment of the bills. Buon pomeriggio Nicola anche a te. Yeah, the view as you can see is just incredible today. So the color of the sun against the palaces, the houses is really, really, really lovely actually. So think about those galleys that they were docking exactly here, and that they would have brought all the spices, silk from all over the Mediterranean area, not only actually, and that they would have had this kind of incredible beauty right in front of them. We might have a little bit of fog tonight. It seems that is slowly coming up. Where we got Poveglia is normally is coming up from there, that we got the open sea. Yeah, before that we started with this kind of view, just behind the little island we got the open sea, of course. And the entire idea is, again, we got the Church of San Giorgio right in front of us. Right now we got the splitting of the canal. So basically on the left hand side we got the Giudecca Canal, and right in front of the dome of the Church of the Salute we got the beginning of the Grand Canal, and then of course Piazza San Marco. Now the situation is still quiet this side, as long that you hit St. Mark's Square. At this real moment is full of scaffoldings. Do you do tours to Poveglia, Nina? I believe that. And so problem number one, getting off, because there's not much space and to get off. Problem number two, you're not allowed to get off in Poveglia. Problem number three, it might be a signal problem. So we got a bunch of funny things going on. So it's always a big issue actually getting over there. Poveglia is really interesting actually, and beside of creepy, all these things and all the story behind Poveglia is definitely really interesting. So it's worth a little tour around. On the last few years, if some of you can sail a little bit, if you rent a boat from Venice Classic Boat, and is VCB, you get it directly from the island of the Certosa, and then they got amazing lovely little boats, and then some of them you don't even need the driving license because the engine is really small, and then you can tour on your own the lagoon, and that is always a great idea if you are a bit expert with the boats. Freaking out and all these things. Think about it, that a few years ago we had a few kids that they asked a water taxi to drop them off in Poveglia, and they wanted to sleep there overnight. At night, actually, in the middle of the night, actually they called the firefighters, that they went there to rescue them, and they brought them into Venice itself actually. So they were feeling we still don't know if the ghost or what, but they were uncomfortable. They made it back, but they were a bit funny. Sorry Fred, the Naval Museum is pretty popular actually, and especially it's divided in two parts. Right over there we got the other part, you got part of the the Bucintoro, that we normally bring it out when we got the Regatta Storica. We got a lot of the rowing boats that they are inside of the museum, but it really worth a little visit actually. Or when the Biennale is on, either architecture or otherwise the art exhibition that is taking place right here, it might worth a little walk inside of the Arsenale. because in this way you will be able to enjoy and see the Arsenal that normally you're not able or allowed to go inside, because especially this part that is right here, it belongs to the Venetian Marines, to give you an idea. So nobody is allowed to get there without special permits, permissions. Thank you, Marek, grazie mille. And normally, if you are not part of the Marines, you don't go in, or only if you only during these special occasions when you go to the modern art exhibitions, you will be able to pop in. And yeah, from this point you can clearly see that this part thank you, Edwin. Yeah, this part is telling you that is definitely a castello, a castle. You can see the two towers that they are standing. Sì, Gianna, è proprio brutta l'Italia, fa proprio schifo, hai ragione. Now the thing is, just in front of us, you can clearly see that it looked like a castle. And this entire area here has been described by Dante Alighieri, so the father of the Italian language, as the hell, because the living and working conditions back then, we're talking about 700 years ago, they were really, really bad. Yeah, we are having a lot of photo shootings with supermodel, that they are everywhere today. There we go. Well, we are able to see it too. So I met them several times. Here we go, the blonde girl with the long boots against the wall. She's the model. I saw her in Rialto, I saw it in St. Mark's Square, and this is pretty much what is happening with the shooting. These two poor guys, they got the two chariots with all the stuff. See, I'm trying to hit all the live cameras. It's not easy actually. Yeah, as you can see, they're doing an amazing job. Once that you get to the point that you do the photo shooting, it's not easy. Give me a second, slowly. So we got Mr. Dante Alighieri, that is exactly right there. And so, as we were mentioning before, he was describing the Arsenal has one of the worst spots to live and work, actually, because hygiene and working conditions, they were extremely bad. And right here you got one of the most interesting collections of lions that they were arriving from all over the Mediterranean area, pretty much from the area of the Peloponnese, especially down in Greece. Otherwise, this big lion, he was in the port of Athens, and you can always see part of the rooms that has been sculpted by the Vikings. There we go. So let's slowly see how bad the water level is. Look. Of course, is low. We can see the bottom. Your dream came true to see Caformenta. Ciao Guadalupe. Très beau. Merci à vous pour nous regarder. Merci. Yeah, the entire idea is that we're definitely a bit higher. I mean, the water is a bit lower than normal. It's something like almost a meter below the sea level. But the view, as you can tell, is really interesting. Think about that. The next bridge that is arriving right now, this one, it would have been the spot where they were selling street food. And so it's the Ponte dei Penini. So they were selling like pork knuckles, pork legs to the workers of the Arsenale, because in this way actually they would not waste time and they were able actually to buy the food, get into the Arsenal, work, and that's it. That's how the situation was. Right now we're trying to get into the Ponte Storto, the crooked bridge that is on our left hand side. We do have a lot of crooked bridges around this area, and 1 a.m. in Japan, wow. Yeah, for you, you are on the other side actually. You're supposed sleeping. Look how beautiful this section is that we're getting into Campo delle Gorne. And so the square of the gathers, and there were those things that they were collecting, of course, the rainwater. And think about that, the majority of the shops that are on our left hand side, they used to be shops that they were all specialized workers. And give me a second. Right here we got the Apuntador de Calafai. So this guy, he was the one that he was in charge of putting the isolation between the planks. Or otherwise we got Mastro alle seghe. He should be the next one. And so he was the master, the most expert worker on the saw. I wanted to go there when there were attractions since December at Dreammask for a tour of the hotel. This is my first real view of Venice. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our pleasure as usual. Here we go. We're slowly getting in Campo delle Gorne. So this area is a fabulous section because it's extremely laid back, extremely quiet. The majority of the people that you got around, here we go, we got two elderly people that they are fixing the boats, and they're ready to go home. After that they fished. Hello, this is such a nice surprise. I feel like I'm watching with you. That is good. Happy that we're having fun. Here we go, Campo delle Gorne, the square of the gather. And wait a second, here we got the gather. Are exactly there, those things that are sticking out. And of course, yeah, look at the sky. We got full clouds everywhere. No, it is unbelievable. It's just blue, 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 blue. There we go. You can see the airplanes. Let me show you the second smallest street that we got in town. That is Calle dell'Occhio Grosso. And look how tiny everything is. It has been my pleasure, it has been our pleasure to show you the beauty of Venice, actually, especially off the beaten path. We're going to continue still a little bit. Let's have the little tiny dog that is arriving. Super happy and cheerful. And we're slowly getting Piscina San Martino. For us, this piscina, it means swimming pool in Italian, but this part, it would have been the place where we would have had a kind of a big, massive fish tank, fish pond, if you want. And right here, all the Venetians, they were coming to buy fish from the fresh water, like trouts and this kind of stuff, actually. Because if you would have bought the fish from salted water, you would have been considered poor, but buying fish from fresh water, you would have been considered rich. So different kind of status symbol through the years, actually. Yeah, it's super quiet, as you can see, and still all the laundry hanging. From this point, you will see that all the alleys, they're getting way much smaller than before. And normally è quasi sera, è ora dello spritz. Era ora dello spritz 2-3 ore fa, secondo me, però forse la birretta è meglio oggi, ho più voglia di birretta, più caldo. Yeah, Nicole, she's saying that spritz time is getting dark. It's definitely getting spritz time. I believe it's more beer time, that I'm more thirsty today because it's definitely getting hotter. And a lovely light beer, it would be perfect and refreshing. See, spritz is not bad, but beer, it sounds better to me at the moment. No, at the moment, ciao, ciao, ciao Lucia, ciao a tutti. Coming this area is always a beautiful part, actually. We're still in Castello, so we will be in Castello pretty much until San John and San Paul, San Giovanni and Paolo Church, actually. So it's a big, massive district that we got in Venice. Look how quiet. A Peroni non è male, Nina, ma qualsiasi birretta bionda, ma anche una Asahi, la giapponese, non disprezzo. Yeah, the view, even the reflection of the buildings and the sun into the water is really nice. And this part is always extremely laid back, quiet, relaxing, and you got a bunch of osterias that are worth a little visit or a little bite around this area. Sì, basta che sia fresca, io direi proprio di sì. Sì, Asahi. Perché no? Yeah, this entire area you got all the regular shops that are normally selling hardware in this area, or the real bottom we're normally having the fruit shop, and so you got all those typical bars where the locals they sit down, they play cards, little. I just overtake the dog. This part is totally inexpensive. If you're getting lost in this area, it's really nice actually, so we cannot complain around this part. It's interesting to have tourists today, this section. And around this area you do have the bakery that is around the corner, you got the butcher, you do have the little district that they literally sell everything, hardware, into shoes, into slippers, into wool, cotton. Here we go. The typical slippers actually of the gondoliers, that at the bottom is totally made out of bicycle tires, as you can see. So in this way they would have had extra grip and they were not falling into the water. Thank you, hooligan mama. Grazie mille. Thank you. Somebody was talking about clubs. Here we go, the sport club. Club Nero Verde alla Vigna, the vineyard, because we are right by St. Francis of the Vineyard Church. Here we go, we got the Morion. That is one is the area where the kids they meet up, they do live concerts, and they do special festivals around this area. And slowly we are proceeding to get into the Church of San Francesco della Vigna, and that's pretty much where we're ending up. We're ending up our tour. So especially this spot, you might have seen it in Commissario Brunetti if you watch the movie or otherwise reading the book, or right in this area, this pinkish palace on the left hand side, they would have been the Napoleon prisons. Look at the view that we got right here. So folks, we're pretty much ending up our tour with this view today. So I would like to say thank you. Thank you for watching. I love you, Venice. Thank you for following and supporting us. Grazie mille and arrivederci. See you next time. I hope you had fun enjoying this back street of Venice. Arrivederci. Ciao a tutti. Alla prossima.